Well, another year is in the books, and 2016 is right around the corner. That means it's time to go over my top 10 beers reviewed in 2015. Alright, so to kick things off at number 10, we're taking a look at a beer that was new to the scene in 2015. This is Weyerbacher Sunday Morning Stout, the beer that took down the highly regarded KBS in my face-off. It's an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with coffee, and it just has some really rich stout characteristics combined with some big bourbon notes. Just a very full, satisfying beer. There was a decent amount of hype surrounding this beer, and rightfully so. It's one of the better examples out there of a bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout. So skip out on KBS next year and pick yourself up some Sunday Morning Stout. Coming in at number 9, we have an IPA. It is Treehouse Julius. Now, some of you might be complaining that it's this far down the list, but I will say that I think the fact that I drank it next to green kind of bumped it down a little bit for me. I have had it since that face-off though, and it is showing up on my top 10 list, so I do hold this beer in high regard. It's not the most explosive hop flavor you'll get in an IPA, but I do love the mellow citrus notes in this beer. It even has like a slight candied quality to it. It's just a very smooth and pretty balanced IPA, very well crafted, and it's just an excellent IPA from an excellent brewery, and I guarantee you that they will be showing up on this list again in a little bit. Clocking in at number 8, we have an adjunct Imperial Stout. One of my favorite Imperial Stouts, Westbrook Mexican Cake. It's brewed with cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, cinnamon, and habanero peppers. I kind of lump it into the category of beers that are supposed to be mimicking Mexican hot chocolate. You have Bomb, which I did a face-off with this beer, and this beer won. And another one that I had this year was Chocovesa, which is a very similar style. The ingredients don't completely match up in all those beers, but of all those beers in that style that I've had so far, this one is my favorite. I try to pick up a bottle every year. It's got just the right amount of spice, and all the ingredients in this beer blend perfectly. It's not going to be the most viscous, full Imperial Stout you drink, but it definitely does not lack in flavor. Coming in at number 7, we have my first experience with Trillium Brewing. This is their Galaxy Dry Hopped Fort Point Pale Ale. This is the best pale ale that I've had to this point, and again, my first beer from Trillium. I was blown away by this beer, was really glad I was able to get my hands on it. I've had the base Fort Point Pale Ale since I've done this review, and I would say that the Galaxy hops definitely bump it up another notch. Again, it's the best pale ale that I've had to this point, excluding India Pale Ales. But again, Trillium is making some awesome stuff, and I hope to review more beers from them in 2016. Alright, so at number 6 we have a double IPA. This is Grimm Cloudbusting. This is one of the most unique double IPAs that I've ever tasted. It has notes of melon, pear, grape, clementine, just very unique hop characteristics. It makes for an incredibly memorable drinking experience, and it's safe to say that 2015 was the year of Grimm, especially in New York State. So I will tell you right now that this will not be the last Grimm beer to show up on this list. Halfway through the list and coming in at number 5, we have one of the most famous and sought after double IPAs on the planet. I'm talking about the Alchemist Heady Topper. And for the most part, I would say that this beer lives up to all the hype surrounding it. Is it the best double IPA on the planet? No, it's not even the best double IPA on this list. This beer redefined the style though. It even created its own subgenre of New England style IPAs. There's tons of hoppy beers out there that try to mimic what this beer does. It really is the double IPA to judge all other double IPAs, and it set the standard for hoppy beers to live up to. Coming in at number 4, I told you Grimm would show up again, and here we have Afterimage. This beer is one of the juiciest, fruitiest, tropical double IPAs I've ever tasted. It literally tastes like drinking fruit juice, and anyone that knows me knows that I'm a sucker for tropical, juicy IPAs. This beer takes it to a whole different level. This was the first canned double IPA from Grimm, so it all started with this one, and the hype has only gotten bigger with each subsequent canned release. Coming in at number 3, we have the second Grimm beer in a row. I told you it was the year of Grimm. This is their Tesseract Double IPA. Think Afterimage, but with a slightly cleaner, drier malt character, which is another aspect of IPAs that I prefer. Just huge tropical notes, and couple that with a nice little berry-like complexity from mosaic hops. Just an incredibly juicy, delicious double IPA. I was lucky enough to get more than my fair share of this beer, and it only got better with each time I had it. It is the best Grimm double IPA that I've had to this point, which says a lot because all of their double IPAs have been world-class beers. It seems like everything Grimm touches turns to gold. They're one of my favorite breweries, and in my opinion, the best brewery out of New York State. And I put brewery in quotes because they don't actually have their own facility. They're nomad brewers. I really do hope, though, that they eventually get their own facility and expand production because more people need to try their beers. If you haven't heard of Grimm yet, remember the name. So the runner-up to Best Beer Reviewed in 2015, it's going to be another IPA, and I told you Treehouse would show up again. This is their Green. This is such a distinct IPA, and when I had this beer, it absolutely blew me away. It is the best IPA that I've had to date. Such a unique hop character in this beer. I really love that candied-like orange sorbet character. Just such a bright, vibrant beer. It almost has like Skittles qualities to it. Team Green all day. Treehouse is amazing, and I hope to review more beers from them in 2016. Alright, so the number 1 beer that I reviewed in 2015, it is a personal favorite of mine. One of the best Imperial Stouts around, one of the best bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stouts around. It is Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. I look forward to the release of this beer every year, and this year's version was no disappointment. I would actually say that this vintage was the best vintage that I've had to date. I was a little bit disappointed that you're getting a little bit less bang for your buck with the change in packaging, but it's still worth every penny. Huge bourbon notes, huge chocolatey notes, lots of dark fruits. The alcohol is completely hidden. It's just such a complex sipper, and I usually try to avoid beers from breweries that have been bought out by the big guys, but this is the one exception that I will make. It's one of the best bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stouts around, and it lives up to every ounce of hype surrounding it. What were some of your favorite beers from 2015? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my subscribers and everyone who watches my videos and comments on my videos. I love interacting with all of you, and I really appreciate your support. It's been a great year of reviews and collaborations. I have to give a special thank you to the Beer Bros for letting me collaborate with them a couple times, and just for all of their support. Again, it's been a really great year. I look forward to doing more reviews in 2016. Happy New Year, everyone. Drink responsibly and passionately, and as always, thank you for watching.